Smart automation, better business. Learn how to optimize your business with Solved.
Hi, everyone. My name's Dallin, and I'm a senior consultant at Solved. And today we're going to talk about those pesky always-on layout fields and how we can hide them in our experience site from our customers. So, sometimes when building a site, you have fields that you don't want to show on a record detail page to a customer. There are internal fields that you only want your team to see, and there are just fields that you might not even use that are out of the box that you don't want customers to see because you don't maintain the values in those fields. However, sometimes those fields cannot be removed from a page layout. There are fields, especially on the case record, but also on other object record pages, that cannot be removed from the page layouts. Fields like status, case origin, contact name, priority. Those fields are deemed always on layout fields. So if we go and look at the page layout, you can see these fields are designated with this blue dot, and it's always on layout. But let's say I don't want to show these to my customer. How do I get them off of the page so that they're not seeing values that we don't want them to see on their record detail pages? First thing that I would have you do is I'd have you create a section here, and in that section you could label it whatever you like. I like to label it hide because I don't want anybody to see it. And then in that section, drag all of the fields that are these always on layout fields that you don't want to show. So I have these 5 fields here that I don't want my customers to see when working in their customer portal. So now that I have those 5s, go ahead and save that that page layout and make sure that the page layout is assigned to the profile of your community user. Once you have done that, we'll go and look at the page, and you'll notice in this page we have the page layout, and they are still seeing this section, but those fields that I don't want them to see are in the hide section. What we're going to do now is we're going to edit the CSS of the page so that these fields get hidden as the page is rendered. So in order to do that, what we need to do is understand what class is in this component for the page. So you can right click and go to inspect. That's usually here at the bottom. Once you click inspect, it will open on the side here and it will highlight sections of the page. So what you want to do is you want to go to the section that highlights the whole section that you want to hide. So that's just the title, but if we go one step up, that is the whole section that we want to hide from the customer. So what I'll have you do is I'll have you go in between where it says class equals, in between the 2 quotation marks here, copy that whole section in the class section, and then you can exit out. What we then need to do is we need to go edit the CSS of this page. So we'll go back to the builder, and here in themes, we'll click on that, and in this drop down we have the edit CSS option. Once you click on that, initially, if you haven't done this before, it's going to give you a warning saying, are you sure you want to use this override? Go ahead and click yes. Once you've done that, you'll paste the class that you have just copied from that inspect. In doing that, what it will show up as is this whole section, but there'll be spaces instead of periods. So go ahead and take those spaces and replace them with periods. So you have period, test ID section, period, SLDS section, and each space I've replaced with a period. At the end, have a curly bracket and have display set to none, and then click save. Once we do that, I'll go preview the page, and you'll notice those fields have now been removed from the page. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out. If you ever need help with your Experience Cloud, feel free to reach out to Solved. We would love to help you get your client portals up and running the way you want them running.
Thank you so much for watching. We can't wait to help you automate your business. Please like, comment, or subscribe for more.